So once a family or a child or, brothers and sisters have been in this short-term care facility for a period of time, and they are tired of being taken from home to home, school district to school district, they make a decision that they want to go into the long-term care. And that's what's beautiful about it. There's nobody there that doesn't want to be there.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Because Adulting is Hard podcast. I'm Alita, and this is my really good friend and really honestly, if I'm being honest, mentor, Kristi Koncaba. I'm super excited to have you on here. I know you're a little nervous, but I'm excited because we're going to talk about one of my favorite places today, Kidz Harbor. Tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll go into the Kidz Harbor stuff next.
Okay, my name is Kristi Koncaba, and I'm the president of Texan Bank. My husband and I sought out a bank to purchase back in 2010, and we raised the necessary capital, got the regulatory approvals, and found a small bank in Sugar Land, Texas, named Bank of Fort Bend.
Okay.
And we purchased that in 2011. So,
and y'all are from this area though, right? Originally, I mean, y'all are from this area. So you were looking to build a new brand of bank where you're from, basically. I mean,
exactly.
In Friendswood. I mean, for me, Friendswood is where I'm hub. So, I mean, that's where we're always talking about. So that you started there. And so you started out with one location?
Yes, we started with one location. And since then, we've grown to 5 locations in the Houston area.
Oh, wow. So I think y'all were in the process of opening another one recently?
Yes, we opened one in the River Oaks area.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Of course, we're in Houston and Friendswood and Clear Lake and Sugarland too. And
you do business banking there. Obviously they do our business banking for the store as well. So you do business and personal banking through Texan Bank, right?
We do everything. We do everything that a bank or credit union does, as well as specializing in SBA loans. But one of the best things is that you will never get a automated message when you call us. You'll get an actual human being, and they are ready to serve you.
Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, as a small business owner, neck deep in the middle of the Rona, I told people I was so blessed to have you as part of my team because it came with a checklist of this. I mean, when you're in crisis mode, that I need a bullet point list of you do this first, you do this second, and you're not getting that from a big bank, but you are getting it from Texan Bank. So let's move a little bit into, you have a different type of leadership style to me. Like, I mean, I'm always looking for strong women to have on the podcast because I think that as I've made a collection of women that come on here, what I'm drawn to is particular types of leadership styles. So I know we said we were gonna talk about that at the end as well, but talk to me a little bit about your style for leading, not only in your life, but also in your business.
Okay, so my leadership style is servant leadership, and it's very simple. There's 2 main elements to servant leadership, and that is service before self and love. And to me, service before self is an act of love in itself. And when I say love, I don't mean the mushy gushy love.
Right.
I mean the form of agape love, where it's love of deliberate choice, it's love of action. So for instance, I doubt you and your husband have ever been in an argument before.
All the time. Today, right. I mean,
but you have those angry feelings in that moment. And then, but deep down, you have that care and you have that deep respect for your husband, and that helps you reconcile and overcome, right?
Absolutely. And when you take that and you plug it into business, this is why this woman is one of the top business women in the state of Texas. You've actually received an award for that. I know. I read that on your list. This is why, y'all, you're taking that form of love and you're guiding a business in that. And that is what we've had many conversations. I've actually heard you speak several times on servant leadership, indirectly and directly, but you actually take your bank, a business, and you lead it in this manner. And you lead it by encouraging your employees to give back to their community, and the organization of choice that you have chosen for the bank is Kidz Harbor. So we have that in common. I have a love for Kidz Harbor because, if I'm being honest, I grew up I spent 2.5 years in a place like Kidz Harbor. So it means a lot to me that those ladies spend countless hours providing that agape love to children. Mm-hmm. So the bank is really done that as well. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about, first of all, what you're doing for Kidz Harbor, but really I want you to start out with the why, because your story to how you chose that as your charity to lead your bank with a servant leadership type of style started with a why.
It sure did. Mm-hmm. So Kenny and I, we have one beautiful daughter together, and we have 2 older children that are outside of the home from his previous marriage. And we wanted to have another child. And so we, tried, and it wasn't in the cards for us. So we thought about our other options, such as adoption and foster care. And we ended up really focused on foster care. We thought we had a wonderful home and lots of love to give. So we went through the process of the trainings, the interviews, the in-class, you had to take in-class classes, right? In-class
classes,
I remember. Out-class classes.
Anything that you can think about, right? All the things.
It's just a long, lengthy process.
It was.
And we were ready to go. We passed everything, and we were ready to welcome some children or a child into our home. And one day, Kenny and I were at work, and we got a call from the foster care agency, and they said, we have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're ready if you guys are. And we said yes. So we went out and purchased, the bedding and the clothes and the food and everything for these children. And there they were. We welcomed them into our home, and it was amazing, and we were nervous, and it was crazy. And then suddenly it just wasn't for us. It wasn't for our family.
It wasn't for your family. It is definitely a hard decision. Mm-hmm. And I remember us having conversations about it, but sometimes it has to be a right fit for the children, and it has to be a right fit for the family as well. So what from there kind of led you to Kidz Harbor?
So, one day, we had to move on. We were devastated. I felt like the Lord was leading us to that. I felt for sure that was where we were supposed to go. And when that didn't happen, I thought, what is going on
God, where's
here?
My billboard? We had that conversation a lot. God, I'm waiting for my billboard. What's going on? Yep.
And so, but we had to move on, and we did. And then one day I read this book called The Servant by James C. Hunter. And that kind of introduced me to servant leadership. The way he described it is paralleling it with the life of Jesus Christ and how he served and how he led. And that just really stirred something inside of me. And I was super excited. And I thought, this is something we have to do at my bank, at our organization. So we, wanted to shift the culture towards servant leadership, and there's a lot to that, but I won't go into those details. But we did create a team called Texans Serving Texans, and that team was tasked with finding a charitable organization that was small, that didn't have a lot of corporate support, a lot of donors
locally. You were really looking for somebody locally. Yep.
So that we could, whatever service that we provide, we see the difference that we're making right there, because it's really big. So we found Kidz Harbor, and Kidz Harbor is a group foster home, as you mentioned.
It is and it's actually in Liverpool is where it's a tiny little facility. But one of the things that I think that's coolest about Kidz Harbor is my husband used to be a prosecutor in Brazoria County, and he said that one of the things about those ladies is that even when the children were in trouble, they never not wanted those children back. And as somebody that has worked in residential treatment, I had it as a child, but I've also been an administrator in it. I know that is 9/10 of a child's battle, is being able to stay at the place and feel loved and get some structure. And that's what Kidz Harbor really does down there. They are a very, very Christ-driven small, very small residential. It's a first landing place when children are taken out of homes. That's the first place they land for 90 days. And those women are crazy. I mean, they are crazy good. And they are just so much full of love. So y'all have done I know y'all have done splash days. I know that you've done back to school fundraisers. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so we've done a lot at Kidz Harbor. One of the first projects we did was building closets for the boys' wing. We built them and painted them.
Then they were really, yes, because there wasn't adequate storage there. That was one of the things they said they needed was literally some storage for the kids' clothes and some updating of painting in that area.
Yes, to move away from the laundry baskets to an actual closet.
Actually, and then we got all of that done, and then Harvey came.
Yes. So Hurricane Harvey came, the long-term care center, which, by the way, they have two different houses there. They have the short-term care, that's the emergency shelter, and then the long-term care.
And they actually specialize in sibling groups, right? That's what we've talked about before, is that one of the things that they do is they like to keep family units together in that short-term care.
Yes, and I love that. I mean, it's so important.
I mean, the first 90 days, I mean, you've literally rocked these kids' worlds. And a lot of times taking 5 to 7 kids is just not possible at a lot of places. But these ladies there, that's what they really specialize in. They really want to keep family units together. But what I really find, that is that part is a very rewarding program to me. But to me, their long-term facility is what other people are not doing. They actually have a facility typically of teenagers, because it's really hard to place teenagers that have jumped in and out of foster care into homes. And so they actually have a long-term facility too, correct?
They do. So once a family or a child or, brothers and sisters have been in this short-term care facility for a period of time, and they are tired of being taken from home to home, school district to school district, they make a decision that they want to go into the long-term care. And that's what's beautiful about it. There's nobody there that doesn't want to be there. And the other great thing is that they take sibling groups there too. So those families, those brothers and sisters can live there throughout their childhood time. So it's kind of like an orphanage. It
is, and that is not heard of anymore. And I mean, as a person that has run residential treatment facility schools, it is unheard of that small group homes are still around that want to keep children through high school and even after, because they have a few kids that they have in a transition program too, correct?
You're right.
They do.
They do have a supervised independent living center for the boys.
And we have talked about that 100 times. That's the thing that's missing for these foster kids, is that they turn 18 and it's like, ta-da, congratulations, you have what? Nothing. And so they have actually gone out and they have a boys facility as well that does transition. Some of them are at Alvin Community College. Some of them are getting a job. Some of them are doing those things. And I strongly believe that as Texan Bank continues to work with them, we're going to continue to see growth in that program, because y'all are helping them provide school supplies after Harvey. Talk to me about what y'all did after Harvey.
Oh, you're right. We didn't cover that.
That's okay. We'll go back.
So Hurricane Harvey affected their long-term care center, and it flooded, a couple feet inside, and everything was destroyed. So we did a call to action through the community, through social media.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing, the response. We had one construction company, thank goodness, because we were all going out with our shovels and not knowing what we were doing.
We're going to take down the walls ourselves, right? I mean, that's what we were all doing during Harvey. Yeah.
We were willing to do it. We had the heart, to do it. And there were over 100 volunteers there. But thank goodness the construction company was there to make sure we did everything right. And we remediated the whole building in a day. So it was
And the kids were able to get back in there within a couple months, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, and so I know that one of your big pushes is back to school fundraisers as well. You do a lot of backpacks, jeans, things like that. Kidz Harbor, we've talked about it 100 times on this show, just because, I mean, it's part of my heart too, it's a place that's showing that same type of love that you talked about at the beginning. It is leading an organization with a servant heart. So let's wrap up with a little bit about why you choose to leave your bank, and what that looks like on a day-to-day basis, not outside of just fundraising, but what you do for your staff as far as servant leadership, continuing to teach it and also not just talk the talk, but walk the walk.
Exactly. Well, it's been such a great experience for me. When I am practicing servant leadership, I have a joy that, you can't even understand. And it's so wonderful that I want everybody else to experience that. So I do encourage our employees to serve and to give, to treat each other with respect, to treat our customers with respect, to treat our community with respect and love, and just serve. And they will also feel that joy. And I've seen it happen. And I've seen people just become so, proud of what they're doing and the difference they're making in the community. And there's nothing better.
Absolutely not. And as a business owner in this community, this is what sets you apart from small businesses, from big banks. I'm sorry. This is what, as a bank owner, sets you apart for me as a small business, because I know that genuinely there's a care for the fact that your small businesses need support, and you're doing that for our community. And we are blessed to have Texan Bank in the community. And I'm blessed that you agreed to come on my show and do this with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the invitation.
No, I'm very grateful for you. And you'll continue to see Kristi and I, because we have this mission together, and this won't be the last of us. So I appreciate you, and remember to live happier, because adulting is hard.